What's up, guys? How is everyone doing on this Friday? Is anyone else super excited this Friday? It's actually my husband's birthday on Monday, and we normally do these birthday weekends, and because we're quarantined, I'm actually planning, and hopefully he's not watching, but he's gonna be the king for the weekend, which means that I'm gonna give him, I'm gonna print out these coupons. I really hope he's not watching right now, but I'm gonna be printing out these coupons that just says you have an hour back massage. What on earth can we do? He was just like, it's my birthday, it's no big deal, we're trapped in here and it is what it is. But I'm like, no, you cannot let these moments just pass you by. Just because we're quarantined, it's even more important to be celebrating. So I'm gonna be celebrating my hubby's birthday, so I'm super excited. After I've done my work today, I'm gonna be planning everything out. So I'm gonna put earbuds in so that we can Molly. Right. Let's join Mally. Mally, come on down. Where are you, girl? Mally, bo bally, fee fi fo fally, Mally.
Oh, she's here. I've been so excited for this one, guys. Mally. Come on, girl. There you are. Oh, of course you got that, girl. Of course. How's it going, homie?
Wait, the worst part is if you go like this and you don't do it hard enough.
All I see is ass. All right, guys, for those of you who are joining us, Mally Bobali, I love this woman so much. I'm going to do a tiny little intro just to give context, and then we're going to go in. Guys, get your questions ready. Drop them in the comments below. We're going to be answering them live. All right, in case you don't know Mally, which means that you have not watched the episode of Women of Impact, which means that although probably you've come across this woman's makeup and you have no clue, this is the woman behind it. So from makeup counter at Barney's to one of the most sought after celebrity makeup artist on the freaking planet and founder of her own best-selling beauty line. Today, I'm joined by the woman who has more energy than a double espresso mixed with Red Bull. Yep, she dials up the volume on more than just her mascara by bringing joy, badassery to everything she touches. The positivity preacher herself and my homegirl, Ms. Mally Ronkel. Can I get an amen, girl?
Can I get an amen? And a yes.
Oh, and a yes. I actually wore this t-shirt as well for you.
Let me see it. Empowered AF. Yeah.
Yeah, girl. All right, so Mally is just, a freaking shining light of a woman. We clicked the moment we met, girl. The moment, this, your spirit is so freaking, just, every time you walk into a room, the whole room brightens up. And so when I'm thinking of who the people I really want to do IG live with that my audience could really relate to, it's I want to touch on different types of Sorry. Makeup. No, do it, gal. Do what you gotta do.
I'm don't try it. I look shiny though. I look shiny. I need to put some makeup on.
And this is why I love her. So you are such a shining light. You bring so much joy, even literally just mentally knowing I was going to get on the IG live with you today. I've been in a great mood all day, all morning. So what you focus on, who you're in touch with, who your friends are matter.
Yes.
But so I want to bring you on to bring positivity, but also, girl, I love how in tune you are with your emotions. You're not afraid to express when you're sad. You're not afraid to express when things aren't going right, but you do it from a way where you don't play the victim. You always do it from a way of yes, this freaking sucks, but what am I going to do about it?
Right.
So, what are you doing right now, girl, to stay positive? And guys, if you are joining us, we're answering questions live, so drop them in the comments. But I'm going to start with my first question, which is, what are you doing to stay positive right now?
Okay, so without sounding, first and foremost, I love you so much. You are my little Energizer Bunny inspiration. I want to tell you, so first and foremost, I'm going to tell you, I did my makeup for you today, and I'm going to explain why. Because you love your anime and your Japanese and your this and that. And I was like, how can I make it very lisabilyeu inspired? So I tried to give you a little Asian energy.
Oh my God.
So that was all about. Because again, I think that's to your point. the people that you love, the people that you connect with, the people that are a part of your life, you have to find ways right now, especially in the world we live in where it's uncertain and it's fearful. I think changing the energy and focusing on the people that you love and the people that you relate to, and how can you, to your point, Tom's birthday.
Yeah.
How are you going to honor those people? This has been the thing. I'm always very close to my kids and Phil. As you know, we have 3 little girls. Phil is my husband. We have pit bulls and guinea pigs, and we have our crazy life over here. But I've always made them my center. But how could I even more? So we've been making, I've been focusing really so much on their diets and how we can really, change them. Because here's the thing. You know me, between running around to QVC and flying and going all over the place. Listen, I am guilty of being that mom that is like, okay, I can't cook tonight. Let's just get pizza. Let's just, and it's, it keeps me awake at night. I'm going to be honest with you. It keeps me awake at night because I think, am I always serving them properly? No, I'm not, because I'm not always able to feed them with the nourishment I know that they deserve. But then I do the whole, but I'm a working mom and I got to get it done. And, I'm working on that. And I believe that this time has been a big reset for how we're going to nourish our bodies. I've been making fresh smoothies for them every single morning, and Phil and myself, which I'm always saying, I don't have time for that. Well, I have time for that now, and I'm streamlining my routine so that when we get back to life as we know it, I will have a new way of feeding my family, feeding myself. That said, I have gone through a set of emotions over this quarantine that I never thought that I would, because being the positivity preacher that I always have been, I have learned so much about myself and where the positivity originated from. And I've learned that it did not come from a healthy place.
Oh.
Yes, I know. And
tell me more.
Like literally the first time I'm ever going to say this in public. So it's like kind of a really big epiphany, and I feel safe with you. And that's the reason why I feel like I want to say it with you. And I'm not going to cry, because I just won't. I refuse, because I'm going to go into my happy place about it. But so people always ask me, right? They're always like, how are you always so happy all the time? I mean, you get that too, because you're this little spitfire happy girl, right? And people always say, how come you're so happy all the time? Why are you always so, joyful and positive? And I have realized that it all came from the trauma of my childhood. So, and this is something I just want to be honest with you. I'm writing about it. I'm writing another book, and I'm writing about it now. So that's why it's all right on the surface.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm with you, I feel safe to share that. I'm still working through it. This is a little bit of a therapy session. So
I love
apologize, because if people are wanting to know questions and I'm like, wait, I got to talk about me right now.
No. The important point for this is to bring value. And I think that by you showing that you're going to be open and honest, even when it's difficult, is freaking bringing value, y'all. So do not apologize. All the comments below, people are loving this, hearts and stuff. So please do continue.
Okay. So here's the thing. This about my childhood. My mother, after trying for many years to have a child, she finally had me, and who she called her miracle baby. And then before I turned a year old, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and they gave her 6 months to live. So they said, listen, I know you just had this child. I know that you have wanted to be a mother forever. She was a doctor. She was a Filipino doctor. She was so strong. She was so powerful, so effervescent. So she had this baby, and then they said, I'm sorry, but you're not going to live to see her grow up. So, of course, my mother was a badass, and she was like, hell no. I am going to watch this baby grow up. And that said, fast forward till she lived till I was 17. So we had 17 years of pure love, joy, and living every day as if it were our last.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I'm realizing as we are going through this traumatic time and being in quarantine also that I lived in fear my entire life. Now I knew that, but the positivity that I pulled out of myself was because I was so afraid that on her last day, she wouldn't see me as a happy, grateful, right? So even when I was not happy, even when I was scared, even when I was afraid, even when I was angry, I was like, no, 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 no. I have to be strong. I have to be happy. I don't want this to be the last moment that she remembers or I remember, and I don't want to live with any regrets. But it forced me to be this like almost positivity robot, right? Where I never, ever, and it's just like, oh my God, this is why I'm the way that I am. My job now is to find a healthy way to carry on with the good thing about being a positive person, but not let that darkness and that doom that was always looming be the reason for it to happen. And when I had this epiphany, oh my God, Lisa, it was like, are we all somehow doing that? Are there moments in our lives that we don't want to feel or we don't want to have regret? So we force the positive energy, and we don't allow ourselves to be truly in the moment that we're in. So I know this is a heavy
No,
for 10 a.m. on the East Coast.
I actually think that this is what people are going through though, right? Like being at home, being quarantined. I think you probably have different camps. You have the camps where people are just freaking out and they're telling everybody and they're in panic mode. Or you have the people right now that are so freaking trying to stay strong and put on that happy face and put on that positivity. And while I think that's great, because I think that your mindset is going to dictate what you're feeling, right? The emotions and the mindset are kind of all intertwined. I still think it's important to address it and not push it down so that it ends up being detrimental to now and to the future. And I could only imagine, I do not have children, but I can only imagine what mothers and parents right now are going through, where it's like fearmonger factor everywhere. And it's like they're trying to be positive for their kids. But when is the right time to take care of yourself?
Right. And I think, okay, so this whole thing has really, first of all, it has forced all of us to, as my husband always says, who loves you, by the way, and he says,
I love him so much.
He loves you. Now that too, that's a positivity preacher up there. He will force some positivity.
Yeah, he is.
Wherever he can shove it.
My phone fell. Sorry, I got so excited. Sorry about that, girl.
But it's so good. So, but this is the thing too. We're all in this space right now, and the thing that gets me is, and I want to know how you feel about this, because this is like, this is the only thing I think that really freaks me out is we don't know how long this is going to go on. How do you, and I don't mean to turn it back on you, but I need your advice here, girl.
Yeah, go for it, girl.
This is my thing. How do you deal with the fact that we don't know how long this is going to go on, and we don't know if this is going to permanently change our lives? What is your take on that? Because I need help with that. I need help because I'm very much the, like, remember getting back to the mom thing and the death thing and the fear thing. I'm like, everything's going to be fine and we're going to go back to normal and everything is going to be great.
Interesting.
Right? But then
I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, nothing's going to go back to normal. What is normal? This is our new normal.
Yes.
And in thinking that, it goes, oh, okay. Like, I'm not worried about whether it is or not. I really think it's not. And that's okay. Look at World War II, right? When World War II happened, all the men went off to fight. The women, I mean, I can't even imagine what stress that would be under. Now your husband's gone, your partner's gone, your sons are gone, your fathers are gone. And now you're having to hold the fort. You then get thrown into an environment, kind of like what I was at Quest, where I had no clue what I was freaking doing. And you're thrown in, and it's like these women just had to freaking survive. And now imagine in those moments how much they were freaking out. But look at what that actually did to women. It showed us, oh my God, I love working. And it shifted culture in a way that I can only celebrate. So I come from every situation like this and say, how is this the best freaking thing that's happened? The world will not be the same after this. But how is that amazing? How is that really fantastic for all of us?
Oh my gosh. I have chills all over my body right now. Wow. Wow. Hold on. Oh. Yes. That is exactly what I needed to hear, because, and it's so ironic, again, going back to the whole positivity preacher, the whole like, yes, we're going to be positive. Yes, everything's going to be fine. You know, again, the positivity robot that I had turned into, right, is, okay, so getting back to that story very quickly, because you just made me realize something.
Yeah.
So after, you know, after my mom died, and that was my new normal, right? That was my new way to sort of, now I have to navigate through this new life. It is about, hello, sorry.
Oh, who's got there?
This is Pilar. Come say hello.
Hello. Just wanted to jump in here to fix my.
That's amazing.
She's dressed up. So let me just explain very quickly. Time out. So our daughters, we have 3 daughters, and they are all, how do we say them? Yeah, they dress up in outfits, and then
I love it.
Yeah. So there's always some costume walking by, and you just have to. And this is the thing that I love. I mean, look, if we're trapped in the house right now, let's perform. Let's live our fantasies. Let's go out there and enjoy ourselves and sing and oh geez, I'm sorry, we have another special guest who would like to come see you.
Let's have
one
a
more. Come on, quickly.
What's up? Love you. Love you too. How you guys doing? He's such a burst of energy. I love him.
Oh, he is. He's a whole lot of energy. So getting back to that, so the new normal. So the new normal was that. And then the day that you know, and I never really understood, why did God, why did the universe, why did the energies of the world take her away from me at such a young age? And then one day I was sitting with my dad. My dad, thank you, Lord, is still, he's 80, he's still kicking. He's got his, you know, my stepmom, who I love and adore. And he said to me one day, and I don't know if I ever told you this story, was the moment that I realized why she had been taken from me, was my mother and I, we were like this. Because of the fact that she had cancer, because the fact that we never knew when the last day was going to be, we were inseparable. So we did everything together. And when she died, I was actually a senior in high school. And now I know that the reason why she left at the time that she did, and my father pointed this out, was because at the moment she went to go be with the angels, I took off on my flight. And I looked over, my dad said, look around you right now. You have a husband, you have 2 kids at the time, you have a makeup, an incredibly amazing, you would have never dreamed of the celebrity makeup artist career that you have built. And now you have a makeup line that you are growing and building. He said, if your mom had not gone and left to go be with the angels, you would have not left her side. She left so you could fly. So what is the reason for this quarantine, coronavirus, the thing. That's exactly your point. What can we find that is going to help us fly from this tragedy, right?
Yeah,
I think
exactly. And
that's
I just read a quote the other day. I think it's Tony Robbins, that is like, nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. And it's like, it's so true. Like right now, what is the meaning we're all given this situation? Is it like, oh my God, you know, that the world is coming to an end because we've been doing things so badly? Or is it like, oh my God, now's an opportunity to go back to zero on certain things where we otherwise wouldn't have done, right?
yes.
You know, I think perspective is everything in this situation. And it's like, you can see this as being the most shittiest thing that's ever happened to the world, or you can see it like World War II, which who would have ever said, look at the best thing that could happen to World War II, right? I mean, so many people died under such torturous circumstances. So you can understand in those situations that people were freaking the fuck out.
Yes.
And now it's just like, look back and see what that did for society. Look, of course there is, I'm not Jewish. I don't have relatives, so I don't want to minimize the trauma that they have gone through. But if you have to see it as the best thing that's ever happened, what are you going to pull out of it? What is the meaning you're going to take from it? And the meaning right now, we are in it. Let's not wait, you know, 3 months, however long this is going to take until we're out of it, to look back. Someone actually texted me the other day and was like, yeah, so do you realize baby boom is going to skyrocket because people are home and now they're just having tons of sex? Or divorce is also going to skyrocket because of all these people that have been in relationships where they've been unhappy and now forced to be in an environment and they just can't take it anymore. So once the quarantine's over, they're done, they're divorced. Now, how can that be the most amazing thing ever? Is that now you're not going to live your life possibly in a marriage that you were so unhappy with, but you just didn't have that last push to actually get the divorce, right? Like, divorce is terrible, but how is it the most amazing thing? It is now you are being forced to change your lifestyle to actually bring you joy that maybe you wouldn't have had the guts to have done otherwise.
Yes. Or, okay, so let me ask you a question. This is a big one, because I know you are always reaching in and you're always looking within. And yet this is the reason, again, why I love you so much, is like, you're so unafraid to go in and dig deep. So what is the one thing that you have learned about yourself, good or bad or both, in this time that you have been at home?
I don't know if it's learned, but let me give you the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
So when everything was quarantined, you know, everyone started staying at home for 2 straight weeks. I didn't leave the house. 2 weeks. I had to leave to go shoot something at our other studio, but that's what broke me leaving the house. So for 2 weeks, I didn't leave. And I was like, okay, Lisa, you've got to be there for your community. Now's your time to step up and be the person you said you were going to be, right? When people are struggling, I'm going to be there. And so for the last 2 weeks, I've been like pushing myself and grinding and making sure I'm doing these lives. And I also have other shoots and trying to make sure that I'm there for my husband and trying to make sure, right? So it's like, and then a couple of days ago, my gut started to act up and I started to not get sleep and I started to feel really tired. And I like to equate it to the wax on, wax off in Karate Kid. So all this time for the last 4 years where I've been talking about mindset, my gut, improving, getting better, putting in strategies, putting in tactics, now's the freaking time. And do I show up for myself? And I've, for so long at Quest, for 10 years, I was freaking grinding. I didn't think about myself. In Impact Theory, I was grinding. We were doing shoots. I was, you know, wearing myself into the ground. The last year and a half, I've been publicly speaking about taking care of myself. And right now I'm in the situation where, am I going to practice what I preach? Am I going to be doing the wax on, wax off? And now I'm doing that big stance where I'm doing that flip kick, if anyone's seen Karate Kid. Right? Like, now's my freaking moment to show. Yeah, go and show it, girl. Show it, girl. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
So right now, the equation of my gut isn't, you know, my health is kind of deteriorating, is the broken film. What do? Do I show up for myself, or do I forget about myself and show up for my community? And so I decided this is a great time. This is a great time for me to actually finally put everything I'm saying and doing into practice, right? Goes to perspective. I don't have to. I could be like, oh my God, my health is deteriorating. What am I going to do? My health is shit. Oh my God, my gut, I'm not sleeping, right? I could have done that. Or I can say, fuck yes, now's my time. I'm going to show up. And so what did I do? I didn't do IG stories yesterday. I spoke to my team and I said, guys, I'm probably only going to do 3 IG lives next week. I may not even do those. I may go on a whim and just do it at 9 a.m. or do it at 3 p.m. when and if I feel good. But I am finally in this situation. Like, I'm so freaking proud of myself because I talk so much about practice, put in a strategy, be in tune with yourself, highlight your awareness. Right now, guys, all these episodes of Women of Impact, right? All these discussions that we're having, all these podcasts we're listening to, all these like journaling, all of this stuff is disciplined practice. But now's my time to show up for myself. If that means that it could be worse for my business, if that means that it could be worse for all of you guys watching, I have to say it's okay. Because Lisa, if I don't show up for myself, how the frick can I show up for you guys? And yeah, so these last 2 days, I don't know if I really answered your question.
You did.
But that is where it's like, I could wallow, I could say, shit, this sucks. Or I can say, now's the time to show up. I've strapped on my gloves and I'm ready to go. Right?
That's right. And that is so huge and so powerful. And I feel like, Lisa, I have to, you know, so just so you know, everybody, like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. I love this woman so much. And some days I just wake up and she's on my mind. And I know, because we are friends and because we're also very open and honest with our followers. Sometimes I say, I wonder how her gut is doing. I wonder how she's feeling. You know, back when we were traveling, when Tom, you know, would leave, we're very similar with our husbands. And we like to be together all the time. So I'm like, are you okay? I know he's gone. I wish I could be with you, because this is, you know, again, we're very similar in that way. But this is important because you are such a giver. You're such a giver. You're so connected with people. This is the kind of thing, again, that, you know, that made me fall in love with you so much, is we have that connection that you truly want to help the world. You really do. And the problem with that, Lisa, and you know this, and I have it too, is that people will take. They will take every single day, the minute you let them. And it's not their fault. It's not that, they're bad people. They just look at this light. There's Lisa, and she's glowing. She's literally a ball of glow. And of course, they want more from you. When I first met Phil 25 years ago, I think more than that, whatever. I was a baby. I'm 48. So I was 23 when I met him, right? And it was so funny. The minute we met, we were like together. Like we never
any kids around.
So we never left each other's side, right? So long story short, and I've always been like this, and I know you've always been like this. So I remember we went back to my apartment after like 2 weeks or whatever. And I was like, oh, and this was so old that we had those you know, those telephone answering machines where you would press a button with a tape recorder, right? And I pressed the button and it said, you have 63 messages. And I was like, dang, okay, whatever, right? So we started to listen. And every message was like, hey, Mel, it's Susie. Yeah, I need a favor from you. Give me a call. Hey, it's Joe. Listen, I need to borrow $50, so let me know, blah, blah, blah. And it was just this literal diarrhea of the mouth of all these people saying, I need this, I want that, I know you're reliable, I know you want to give, you're the giver, let me take, blah, blah, blah. And now with these people, and listen, everybody who's watching or listening, I know you have takers. I know you have takers, and I know you have people that want to, that unintentionally maybe
Right.
take advantage of you, but they do because we allow that.
All right. So what do you do though if it's your family and your kids, right? So it's as a kid, of course, like if I was a kid right now, I would be turning to my mom and expecting her to be a support system, to be feeding me, to be calm, to not freak out. Like I would look at her out of expectation, of course. So now, if you have kids right now at home, of course they're going to be taking from you. How do you, because it's easy for me to say, not easy, but I force myself to say, guys, I love you, anyone watching, I'm here for you, but I have to take time off for myself, right? It's a click of a button. But when you're right now stuck at home in quarantine and you have your partner wanting something from you, maybe you're working from home, so you have still your company wanting something from you, and now you've got kids that want something from you. How do you do what I just did, where I'm like, I have to take care of myself first so I can show up for you? As a mother, what do you do right now to make sure you are taking care of yourself, so that in 2, 3, 4, 6 months, whatever, you don't look back and be like, oh my God, I lost myself, or I'm so drained I can't even stand up anymore. Like, we've got to take care of ourselves. But how do you do that when you're a parent?
Well, you have to schedule it in. And this is where, God willing, you have a partner that can work together with you and split the duties. So it's very funny. I saw a meme this morning. I think my friend Bobby Brown posted it, something like, no one will ever ask a stay-at-home mom ever again, so what did you do all day? Because now, because now everybody's like, holy shit, take me back to work.
Going back to how is this the best thing that's ever happened, it's highlighting the importance of stay-at-home mothers who freaking are there for their children. Anyway, not to derail, but continue.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what Phil and I have now learned to do since this whole thing has started. I have certain duties and things that I need to do for work. He has certain duties that he needs to do for work.
Right.
We have to schedule in taking a duty, because guess what? When you have kids, you have to really. Just kidding.
I was like, did she really just say that?
I'm just kidding.
But let me tell you, if you've got a newborn baby, you probably have to, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're like, I gotta poop. Everybody just relax. So, but these are the kinds of things that literally have to happen, and you need to make a schedule more than ever before. And it sounds so dumb. If you could look at my schedule, Lisa, it's silly. It's even said yesterday, I'm not kidding, because also too, we're trying to save all of our food and not waste anything. You know, I've learned a lot of things too about, I'm just going to say, we've never been good with like leftovers or saving food. We've always been like, oh, you know, whatever, I don't want to eat that again. So we are now really changing the way that we are feeding our family and feeding ourselves and not wasting. But I had lists, as kid you not, it said freeze bananas for smoothies, like literally being so specific, and then sitting down. I say, I have 2 crazy boys that can't be unsupervised. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. So what you have to do is you have to work together and make a schedule that, it sounds so dumb, but it has to be so specific. And it has really worked. It's worked here, especially, we've always homeschooled the girls, but this is kind of like a whole other level, because now there's no activities, like nobody's going to dance class. And so now I have to schedule in time to do a puzzle with Vivian, because that's what she wants to do. And, you know, it's about being very, you can't negotiate. This is what has to be done.
So are you scheduling though time for yourself? Like, is there time in that calendar that says Mally time? Calling you out, gal. But that's the whole point, right? That's what I'm going back to, is that you're so strategic. You've got the thinking, how do we make this happen? But you still haven't put yourself, like, not even first, because I totally understand when you're a parent that just, like, isn't possible. But it's so freaking cliche now, but it's so true. Put the oxygen mask on your face first, because otherwise you're going to be passed out and you can't save your kids.
You're
so
right.
Can I call you out and ask you if you're going to put some Mally time in your agenda now? Okay.
I am. But let me ask you if this is allowed, okay? because this is
Loud, like it's Lisa's rules or something.
well, because truthfully, right, to your point, because let me ask you a question. Here's another thing.
Yeah.
We haven't left the house. Our days go like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you all of a sudden you're like, it's 3:00 already?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like some people it's the opposite. Some people are like, oh my God, let's let the time. For us, it feels like it's just moving very quickly because I'm trying to, get so many things done. All right. So here's my question.
Wait, before you ask that question, I'm just people that are joining us, guys. We will be answering questions below. But this is what me and Mally are like. They just can't get us to shut up. And then also, I love doing shout outs. So drop in the comments, guys, where you're joining from, because I really do love to see where everyone's coming from.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry. Now go ahead. Ask your question. Go.
After this question, then we can do the chat. Am I allowed? Is my me time allowed? Okay, is it supposed to be something that I like to do or something that I have to do? And let me explain. So for example, and this is such a girly question, but I, because I'm on TV all the time and all that stuff, I get my nails done, right? I get my nails done at the nail salon, like, whatever. So my gel nail polish or whatever was growing out.
Okay.
So last Saturday, I think, I said, okay, I'm going to have to take off my gel nail polish and do my nails again. And I know it sounds fun, maybe, but it's not fun for me. I don't really want to do that. But Vivian said, well, can I do nails too? So I said, okay, so let's take this time. I'll take off my nail polish. I'll do your nails. And then this can be our bonding, party time. Does it have to be something that I like to do, or can it be something that just fills my heart with happiness, even though I don't like the actual action? Or do I have to like the action?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, right, like the rule is you freaking make it up yourself. So for me, the way I think about it is and I call it selfish time. And people don't like that word, but I actually love that word. So right now, what is the selfish thing that you want to do? And so when I look into it, so Tom and I do this almost every weekend when we're going to hang out because we're so busy, but we also want to spend time together. But even that, like spending time with my husband fills my heart with joy. But let me tell you, there's certain things I won't do with him. There, certain trashy television that I freaking love doing while I'm plucking my eyebrows, right? Like that's my thing. Like, but that's my thing. And Tom doesn't want to sit there while I'm plucking my eyebrows and watching trashy TV, but it brings me some sort of weird peace. And so I would say, like, how to approach it is don't think about your children. And I know that's hard to say, but don't think about your children. Don't think about your husband. Don't think about your business. What is the thing you would want to do? Right? But here's the thing, you don't know because you haven't asked yourself. And so many mothers, I think specifically mothers, because they're always giving themselves over to their children, when they start to have to look at like, oh shit, what do I like doing? Like, now's the time to look, right? And assess what is that thing that you want to do? And that to me means not thinking about anyone else, including your children. Because for me, like I said, I love spending time with Tom, but that isn't selfish time where it's just me. So I think people right now, and you need to schedule it because it won't happen by accident.
You're right.
Put it in your calendar for 30 minutes, tell everybody. And what I would do is come at it from a very respectful way. So I would say like, hey guys, I think it's really important that all of us get selfish time. So what if we all allocate 30 minutes, decide what that is, and then schedule it? So if you're taking your selfish time, I'm going to look after the children. Okay, I'm going to take my selfish time and you're going to do the dishes, right? Like whatever that is. But get so specific so that when you take that time, you're not getting bombarded by other people. Other people around you in your space are respecting you for that time because they know they're going to get it and they'll want that undisturbed time as well.
That's right.
And then it just allows you to feel so like, God, I don't know, for me, there's just something about I'm taking time to do whatever I want. And like I said, it doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to.
Yes.
No, it doesn't have to be like, now I got my nails done, so thank God.
Yeah.
But, like, it's that, what would I do if no one was around me right now. And
Yes.
how can I make sure that I get time? Because like I said, girls, like we can't show up for other people if we're not showing up for ourselves.
You're
So
right.
how do we show up for ourselves? And then the other thing I will add, and then we will get to people and the questions. The other thing I will add is I specifically deliberately use tips and tricks and tactics right now that I know are going to serve me in the future. So what do I mean by that?
Yes,
I mean that, so Tom and I, like if obviously me and you, we work with our partners, so it's slightly different. We're used to being around them a lot. But
Right.
if people are not used to being around their partners, I would say, how do you look back at this time and say, how did it bring you together? So there's something about a routine that you become like a robot, right? So it's like every morning, if you have a specific routine, you don't know what happened. Like if I was to ask you without the quarantine, what did you do last Wednesday morning and what was different on last Tuesday morning? You'd be like, I don't know, they were the same, right? Like nothing will really separate those things from apart. So doing something out of the ordinary, by definition, will create a different emotion in you because now you're out of autopilot. Thank you.
Yeah.
So taking yourself off the autopilot deliberately by doing something you don't normally do. So for me and Tom, I wanted this moment. I really, really, really wanted to create this time to be like, when I look back at it, like, oh my God, that did amazing things for my relationship. So I said to Tom, what can we do together? So I asked him, let's take baths. And he actually doesn't really like baths, but I was like, but I'm nude, so he'll probably say yes. Right? So I started to say to him, baby, why don't we take baths together? So we started to take these baths together. And now what do? I don't just let the baths happen and then forget. I reinforce it almost every day. If you've been joining me guys on these lives, you've been seeing that all I keep talking about is taking baths with my husband. When Tom is around, I keep talking about, babe, isn't it amazing that we're taking baths? Because in the future, we're going to look back and remember how amazing this is. So I'm making sure that I'm deliberately reinforcing in my mind how amazing these baths are and how it's something that we're doing special together during this quarantine so that in 5 years, I will remember this because I'm solidifying it in real time.
Wow!
Okay, I'm out of breath. I hope that made sense.
Yes, 100%. 100%. That absolutely makes sense. And that is the thing I think that I can learn so much because I am so programmed in my mind. Here's the thing. Again, going all the way back from the beginning of the conversation, making every moment count. Every minute I have to make it count. Every minute I have to be happy. Every minute I have to show that I'm grateful. So I'm going to just keep smiling and I'm going to keep on being a good daughter and I'm going to keep on doing so. But I think that is why I have such a hard time answering that question, Lisa, is because I have to make every minute count. When you're like, well, Phil asks me the same question all the time, just so you know. He's like, what can you do that's going to fill you? Because Phil will always say he loves his motocross racing. If you give him this much time and he has nothing to do, he's like, I'm going to go ride my motocross bike. And that's what fills his soul. And he's like, well, what is it for you? And I'm like, I don't know, making sure that you guys are happy and running our business and he's like, no, it has to be something outside of that. But because as a woman and as the person that I've always been, I always feel like every minute has to be filled with something that is going to be productive. But honey, I'm going to go pluck my eyebrows and watch TV.
Let me get an amen for that, sister.
That is what it's all about. So yeah, I love this. I saw somebody, by the way, said have a dance party.
Yeah.
And I love that 1,000%. And let me explain why. Because now that, life has changed, whatever, we used to go dancing all the time. When is the last time you went dancing? Like you went to a club and went dancing? I think you went to Vegas recently. I don't know.
Yeah, I do love like getting a bit like putting on some sexy outfit and doing some moves to my hubby. It's definitely a way for us to kind of like just connect from that visceral, like sexual side of it. Whereas, so I actually like to dance. I sadly don't get enough time now. But to be honest, I do just randomly dance around the house. And every so often, Tom will be like, in fact, a couple of days ago, Tom was brushing his teeth. And I started like moving up to him and I was like twerking and I was doing like the move and he's literally brushing his teeth and he looks over at me and I just made him laugh, right? It's like being silly like that forces an energy to come out of me. And dancing is such a beautiful emotion that I think it can really help express some things. I love that, coming up with things like that people can do at home. I'm also doing things like having a cup of tea with my friends on Skype. So actually today we have scheduled, so normally in our company, we have team lunch, which is every Friday, our entire team gets around, we treat them all to lunch and we have one rule: you can't talk about work. And so normally it's like, what movies did you watch? It's a way for us all to connect. But because we're not all together, we haven't done it. And so one of our girls hit me up and she's like, well, what if we all did like a Skype meal and we all do a Zoom, the entire company? And so now she's like, oh, and I'll do a game. And so we've now got, after this call later today, we've got all like 25 of our teammates. We're going to get on a Zoom and we've got these quizzes and games about each other. But that wouldn't have happened if we weren't quarantined. And now it's an opportunity to connect again.
That's right. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it.
I love that. I love that. Well, and here's the thing that I love. Yes?
I just don't know it.
I do want to do some shout outs. I do want to do some. Hello, Kel. What's up? Look awesome.
That's not what she really looks like.
I was going to say, people don't know what she looks like, so they don't realize. All right, I'm gonna do some shout outs to some people.
Okay,
so
let's see.
All right, so we've got shout outs from Lithuania, Pennsylvania, Pakistan, Israel, India, Philippines, Canada, Brooklyn, Arkansas, Ohio, Palestine, and Honolulu.
Oh!
Damn!
Now let's talk about being quarantined in Honolulu. Now what were we thinking? That is so great. Well, go ahead.
We just got so many questions. We've been on this. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when me and Mally talk, to be honest. Like when we're in person, the last time we saw each other was, I think, at Rachel Hollis's event backstage. And it was one of these, like, I think our husbands had to like drag us away because they're like, yeah, guys, we got to go. We've got a flight to catch. We got to go. All right. So I'm going to throw in some questions just to make sure that I am a woman of my word and we do get to some questions. So, all right, this is a great question based on what we were talking about. This is from Sandra's Lens. How do you discover your passion in life or professionally when you have a lot of interests? Do you want to start?
Oh, that is really good. I am going to just say there's a lot of things that I am grateful for the blessings that God has given me. There's a lot of things that I don't love about myself. I am very scattered. I like a lot of things. Now makeup was always my favorite thing, right? So as a makeup artist, I always knew I wanted to be a makeup artist, but I also love positivity preaching. I also love cooking. I also love style. I love shoes. Oh, I want to design a new pair of shoes. Oh, I want to do this. And my poor husband.
And your family, if people don't know this about you, when I say you were probably number one in my mind of the person that I think is so freaking dedicated to their family. So please add that, because you haven't chosen though to be a stay-at-home mother.
Right. So, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is I do. And yes, I love doing things with the kids and teaching them new things and so the problem with that is when you have so many interests, to your point, you end up doing nothing because you dabble in this, you dabble in that. And the scary thing is I see it in my kids too. They're very much like, I want to do this, and then I want to build this, I want to write a Broadway musical, and I'm going to do, and while it's good, you really have to reach to the thing that speaks to you most. I'm not saying that you can't do a lot of things. Of course you can do a lot of things, but it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money usually. It takes and it takes focus. So I think the best thing for you to do when you love so many things, you really have to look inside. There is one or two or three things that really pull you, that gravitational pull. And the way I always do it is, as soon as you wake up in the morning, after you say your gratitude or whatever it is, what is the first thing that comes to your mind that gets your belly like excited? And then that's the thing you should follow.
Well, I got a question for you though, because so I love to draw, as you know. My hobby is drawing.
Unbelievable.
Are
we allowed to buy those, by the way?
I don't
Are they
sell
for
them.
sale?
I have not even thought about it. But okay, so this is a perfect example. So growing up, I was told, like, I practiced all the time. I was obsessed with drawing. I wanted to be the next Disney. I was going to either work for him or be his competitor. Like, that was my dream growing up. And my mum said, actually, Disney doesn't draw anymore. It's all computers. And it broke my heart, because I was like, I don't want to use a computer. I love the art form of drawing. So I was like, so then I would go to school, and then to pass my class, I had to do sculpting and clay and paint, and I freaking hated it. I just wanted pencil and paper. And so in that moment, and my teacher kept failing me because I was just doing drawings. And so my mum said, look, you've got an opportunity now to go, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to be right and just stick to what you want, or do you want to pass? Because now you have a choice. You want them to be one and the same, but the truth is they're not one and the same. So what is the goal you're trying to get to? And at that time, I really wanted to go to film school. So I was like, all right, I'm going to just pass. After that, it made me realize I love drawing so much that I'm not willing to do that art for somebody else. And that was an awakening. So it was like I had this intense passion. So then I was like, okay, into my adulthood, I was trying to make money. I started a website design company because I was like, oh, I can just do design. It's part of my passion. I can make money from it. After doing 2 websites, I freaking hated it again because people were telling me what to do. And for me, art was an expression. And I had to be very aware, though, and in tune with myself to say, I'm not willing to do this as a career. So even now, I've actually been offered by certain people to be commissioned to do an art piece, and I said no, because I have to protect my passion, but I've assessed that I don't want to do this as a career. So for you, how did you know if makeup was a passion? How did you say, but I'm still willing to do it as a career and have to go through the hoops that are needed to build a business out of that passion?
Okay, so basically what you're saying is I loved please. Right. I loved the art of makeup, the connection of makeup, the being with people and creating and all that kind of stuff. But then I also wanted to have a makeup line.
Correct.
So,
which had to serve other people. So now your mindset when you're creating it isn't just how does this serve me? It is how does this serve the people? Because now I'm building a business on it and I have to make money. So, right? Like it's like with Quest Nutrition. If there was product or a bar I didn't like, but other people loved it, we would still release it. So that's where you're like, this isn't about me, this is about other people. So your makeup line is a passion you have, but now you're trying to make money out of it. So what made you say, but I'm still going to do it?
Well, first and foremost, I learned a lot about makeup, the makeup business, because I was running with these big giant celebrities, right? And and I'm just gonna say, like, I was with Beyonce forever, and I worked with Jennifer Lopez, and I worked with Celine Dion, and I'm just gonna say, because you feel like, oh, this is the pinnacle. Like, what else do I need to do? I'll do this forever. I'll be happy. There was something missing, and what that was I knew I had a message I wanted to share. So I realized that it wasn't just about actually the makeup itself. It was about that I wanted to actually connect with people, teach them how to look and feel their best. And I needed also people to help me do that. I was like, I've always been a little bit of a control freak, and I always want to do everything myself. And it's the Filipino in me. I'm like, step, I'll do it. But I also realized that I couldn't do that. So it helped me then to focus on what are the things that are the most important to me. What am I going to share? I knew that the passion was the makeup, but the passion was also the sharing part. So I actually needed those people to share with, to live my passion. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
And almost like your makeup is a calling card to then give the message. So
Right.
it's like you got to get them in to then, you know,
Yes.
oh, I love that. And one thing I want to touch on though is that some people, so this person has so many interests, and so how do I refine my interest into the passion? I think there's also the other camp where people aren't sure what their passion is and aren't sure what to do. And what I love about that is right now is the moment, right? It's like now's the moment to start trying things that you were maybe interested in, even slightly. Try a few things and see if it develops into a passion. People always talking about finding your passion. It's never just, in fact, Tom said this the other day, if I can name drop on Marie Shriver's Instagram, which I freaking loved. So anyway, he said this and it blew my mind. It is, you don't, passion isn't an excavation, it's a construction. I think he actually said it in much better words, but so basically you don't like try and dig to find your passion. You actually have to build it. And so right, think about when we were kids, right? Maybe for you, but like for me, I started drawing as a kid. I did other things. I played soccer. I did these like decoupage art things, right? So it's like you try a bunch of things as a kid. You see what you actually like doing. Then you start doing more of it. Then you cultivate it. Then that is putting the fuel on the fire to become a bonfire. But you have to start from trying it. Like, and then once you've tried it, you then have to build it, which means you go into more things. So I would say for people at home right now, right, like this is the time. Try 10 different things that you were like, I don't know if I like this or not. Try it and then see. Like, did you then wake up and like it spark a fire inside you? If it did, then do more of it.
That's right. So, because like you're home, you're saying, oh, I really wanted to, you know, maybe I'll write a story, or to your point, maybe I'll draw, maybe I'll try to bake that thing, maybe. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that is exactly what was missing. You know what I mean? That was what was missing in my heart and in the excitement. There's nothing to me, and this is the thing, having children, that is very important. Getting back to that feeling is when you wake up in the morning. Are you a morning person or are you not a morning person?
Like, God, that's hard to say.
You've made yourself a morning person.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Phil too. I've always been a morning person. I like to get up early, and I can literally, it's so funny. I think your husband said in one of his posts, it was something like, get out of bed within 10 minutes, right? Yeah. And then hit your routine, go right to the gym, do whatever. And I was like, that's what I do. That means that I'm doing it right. But I've always been like that, right? I've always been like that, where I get up and I always think, oh, what am I going to do today? And if it's something that excites me, which I will always make sure that I'm doing something that excites me, that's the passion that gets me going. And this is the reason why we chose to homeschool our children. And this is something too that I find, I'm just going to say this out loud and people might lose it, but I'm just going to say it.
I love your honesty. So whatever it is, even if I disagree, I love that you're always honest.
All right. Well, here's the thing.
Probably won't disagree though.
We chose to homeschool our kids from the beginning. And the reason why we did was because we personally think, and again, I apologize if everybody thinks that school, the way it's done, and I'm sorry if there's teachers and whatever, but okay, taking my personal...
Look, this is your honesty. So I hope I have created a space on Instagram and on YouTube where it's like the whole point is we accept each other even when we disagree. right?
Okay.
It's
Yes.
like, so even if I don't agree with whatever you're about to say, or anyone at home right now is going to disagree vehemently with what you're about to say, it's like, let's just make sure that we always respect each other. That the fact that you can be honest, even in spite of that, to me is freaking beautiful, woman.
Well,
So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, but thank you. I need that, because that's another thing. That's the other little problem that I've always had, was I've always been so afraid to step on anybody's toes or hurt anybody's feelings, or someone said, say,
I was
girl,
gonna say,
speak your
yeah,
truth.
we've got like all these comments. People are just like, say your opinion, 100%. Like, and again, this doesn't mean that everyone watching is going to agree with you. But if we can create